Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Robertson Wesley. My name is Reverend Karen Bridges, and as always, it's a great pleasure to be worshiping with you today with our kids' church time. It's a little more interactive, but it is absolutely open to all ages. We try to be a very inclusive church here at Robertson Wesley. Now, I hope that everyone has remembered that today is Father's Day. I hope that you will be spending some time or calling or sending a card or something to any of the people who have been fathers and uncles and brothers to you in your life. All very important people in our lives that teach us a lot of different things. So make sure you take some time to thank your fathers or the people who have been a father to you in your life so far. I know we spend a lot of time on Mother's Day, but Father's Day is just as important. We often have a special relationship with our fathers. So I hope that if you are joining me today that you will put some comments in the comment box if you're on Facebook, or perhaps you might put out some emoticons so I know how you're feeling about what's going on. I'd like to know your reactions, hear your thoughts, and all of that kind of fun stuff. Today is also, not only is it Father's Day, but today is also in the church several other celebrations. June is a month of celebration, which is why we use the color red. Red is our celebratory color, often marks anniversaries. So at the beginning of June, we had the anniversary of the church, kind of the birth of the church with Pentecost, and then we moved into the United Church anniversary. We had Pride Sunday last week. This Sunday, if you were all here in the church, we would be doing what we call the Celebration of Faith Sunday. And this is a time where we acknowledge all of the children and youth who have worshiped with us and the things that we have learned throughout the year. And we would spend time inviting people in the congregation to share with each other what they have learned about their faith this year. This year's been big growth area where we've been really working on what it means to be a disciple of Christ. What are the things we need to do to show God that we are living out our faith in this world? And so some of that learning has happened online in the recent times, but there's other ways that we can learn, and we learn through helping other people, we learn through praying, we learn through worshiping, we learn through all sorts of different practices together. So I just want to give out a special shout out and congratulations to any of you, hi Arlie, to any of you who are graduating this year from grade 6, maybe you're graduating from grade 9 or grade 12, maybe you graduated from university. We just want to give out a big congratulations, happy wave, spirit fingers to all of you. We're really proud of all of you and so hello. Ha. I'm excited to see everyone. Yay, look at all the people watching. This is fantastic. So yes, congratulations to all of you who have graduated. I'm sorry your celebrations might not have been what you wanted them to be, but know that we are so excited for you and very, very proud. So congratulations, and I hope that your new adventures, your new schools will bring you just as much joy in the coming years that we are together. Okay, so if that wasn't enough, it's Father's Day, it's Celebration of Faith Day. Do you know what else it is today? It's a really important day, actually. It is the Indigenous Day of Prayer, the Indigenous Peoples' Day of Prayer. And so this is a time where we acknowledge all of our Indigenous siblings. And so I wanted to start today by doing an acknowledgement of the land, of the territory that we are in. So we have been doing this in service. Maybe you do this at your church or at your schools. But I thought we would acknowledge today the land that we are on. So we are now gathered, generations gathered long before Europeans landed on those shores, or on these shores. The original inhabitants of this land, known to some indigenous peoples as Turtle Island, took seriously the Creator's call to be stewards of air, land, water, and creature. This morning we pray our thanks for this conservation. We exist in this place because of the lessons they continue to teach. So let us come before the Creating One as we offer our prayers, hear Holy Story, and sing sacred songs. We are on this beautiful land, and I am just so excited to be part of Treaty 6 territory and Métis Nation of Region 4. Did you know that that's what territory we were on? It is. One of the teachings and one of the things that I have learned from some of my Indigenous brothers and sisters and siblings is the importance of the heartbeat of the earth, which also is the heartbeat of our lives. And so we're going to start with a meditation. Focus on our own heartbeat so that we can really tie into our being here in this world. So I want you to take your hand, your right hand, and place it over your heart, which is on the left side of your body. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to try to feel your heartbeat. And so every time it beats, I want you to just kind of tap your chest in rhythm with your own heartbeat. So pay close attention, take a deep breath, quiet your mind, quiet your space, and try and feel your heartbeat. Our heartbeats, or the beat of a drum, reminds us of life, of the rhythm, of how our breath comes in and is released, and how our body works. We need to know that our heart is still beating, for that's what powers our bodies. And it's what powers this earth and all of creation together. And so I just wanted to take that time to really pay attention to our hearts and the life that is within us, because it truly is a gift. So I wanted to share with you a story today. It's a bit of a longer story, but I think it's an important story, and it's called Old Turtle and the Broken Truth. Now, some of you might have heard the story of Old Turtle, which talks about creation, but this is a second book that talks about the wise old turtle and some of the teachings. And Turtle is really a wise elder. Our Indigenous brothers, sisters, and siblings really honor their elders. These are people who have lived a long time, who really have learned a lot and have come to a point where they are very wise. And they take a lot of time to share that wisdom with all of us. And so we can learn a lot from our elders. And some of you were connected up with some of the elders in our congregation, and I hope you're sticking with that relationship and sharing some of your dreams and thoughts and checking in with each other, especially in this time that we are apart. So this story was written by Douglas Wood. Hello, Shiloh. All right. Once in a beautiful faraway land, there was somehow not so very far. A land where every stone was a teacher and every breeze a language, and every lake was a mirror and every tree a ladder to the stars. Into this far and lovely land there fell a truth. It streaked down from the stars, trailing a tail as long as the sky. But as it fell, it broke. One of the pieces blazed off through the night sky, and the other fell on the earth in the beautiful land. In the morning, Crow found the fallen piece. It seemed to be a sort of stone, shiny and pleasing to the eye, and so he picked it up. "This is a lovely truth," said Crow. "I will keep it." And he carried it away. But after he had held it for a while and examined it closely, Crow said, "This truth does not feel quite right. A part of it is missing. I will look for a whole one." He flew off and dropped it on the ground. Other creatures who liked shiny things soon noticed the truth as well. Fox, coyote, raccoon each picked it up and carried it a while. But they too found that it had rough edges and was difficult to carry, and its sparkle soon lost its appeal. We do not need this broken truth, they said. We will find a whole one. Butterfly and Bear also discovered the truth, drawn by its sweetness, but each found that it left a bitter taste after a while. There's something missing in this truth, they thought. Left it alone. After a while, none of the creatures even noticed the broken truth anymore, and it lay on the ground, forgotten. Then, a human being found it. He was walking slowly, listening to breezes, gazing at beauties above and below and all around him, when he found the broken truth. On it was writing, and the writing said, "You are loved." The man held it carefully, thinking it was the loveliest thing he had ever seen. He tucked it into a safe place, this broken truth, and kept it. Sometimes he would take it out and admire it, and the truth sparkled just for him and whispered its message to him alone. The man thought he had never felt so proud and so happy. Do you see the broken truth? There's the broken truth right there. Hi, Keisha and Owen. The man took the wonderful truth to his people, those who lived with him, who spoke as he spoke and dressed as he dressed, and whose faces looked like his. And together they cherished this newfound truth and believed in it. They hugged it to themselves, and it became their most important possession. After a while, the man and his people did not hear the language of breezes and stones anymore, but heard only their truth. They did not see the mirrored beauty in the lakes or the ladders to the stars, but saw only their sparkling truth. And for them, it was enough. And they called it the truth. The truth made the people feel good and proud and strong, but soon they all began to feel fear and even anger towards those who were not like themselves and did not share their truth. The other beings and other people of the lovely land seemed less and less important, and the language of the breezes was hardly ever heard anymore. Time passed, and other people said, "We must have this great truth for ourselves, for with it comes happiness and power." Many battles were fought, and broken truth was won and lost over and over again. But such was its power and beauty that no one ever doubted it. And when they were without it, they felt a great emptiness where their truth had been. The stones and trees suffered, the breezes and waters suffered, and the animals and the earth. And most of all, people suffered. Finally, the animals went to Old Turtle, ancient and wise as the mountains and the seas themselves. Crow and fox went, coyote went, raccoon, butterfly, bear, and many others. All went to see Old Turtle. "This truth the people quarrel over," they said. "We have all held it ourselves. It is broken and does not work. Please tell the people." "I'm sorry," said Old Turtle. "But the people will not listen. They are not ready yet." And the suffering continued. Until one day, the little girl came to find Old Turtle. She had traveled very far and had crossed the mountains of imagining and the river, wondering why, had found her way through the forest of finding out. And when she had grown tired, she had ridden on the backs of animals or the wings of birds, and they had helped her find her way. Finally, they came to a great hill in the very center of the world. From there, the little girl thought that she had never seen so far or seen so much beauty. You see her up on the hill there? But when she saw Old Turtle, she could hardly speak. She simply looked with eyes full of wonder. "Why have you come so far to find me, little girl?" asked Old Turtle. Her voice rumbled like faraway thunder, but was soft as the breeze through caterpillars' whiskers. I wanted to ask a question. Where I live, the earth is sore, and people are suffering. Battles are fought over and over again. People say it has always been this way and will never change. Can it change, Old Turtle? Can we make it change? Here she is talking to Old Turtle. Old Turtle spoke. The world you described is not the world that has always been, little one. Then Old Turtle told of how the people had found the broken truth and the suffering it had caused. It is because it is so close to a great whole truth that it is such beauty and that people love it so, said Old Turtle. It is the lost portion of the broken truth that the people need, if the world is to be made whole again. But where is this missing piece? Asked the little girl. Can we put the truth back together again? First, my child, said Old Turtle, remember that there are truths all around us and within us. They twinkle in the night sky and bloom upon the earth. They fall upon every day, silent as the snow and gentle as the rain. The people, clutching their one truth, forget that it is part of all the small and lovely truths of life. They no longer see the truths, no longer hear them. But perhaps, little one, you can. I'll try, said the little girl. And she thought once more of her long journey. She looked upon all the beauty that had surrounded her, from the far hills to the flowers beneath her feet. She saw the movement of the clouds and the soaring of birds and the dancing of light upon the green and living earth. She heard the whispering of the breeze, and gradually a feeling came over her, as though all the world were made of truths, as if the world had been made just for her, and she had been made for it. And she felt a secret smile somewhere deep inside and thought that perhaps she understood. She looked once again at Old Turtle, her eyes more filled with wonder than before. Old Turtle spoke again. Remember this, little one, she said. The broken truth and the life itself will be mended only when one person meets another. Someone from a different place or with a different face or different ways sees and hears herself. Only then will the people know that every person, every being is important, and that the world has made for each of us a place. For a long time then, the two friends were quiet, high on their hill in the very center of the world. And in her heart, the little girl thought she could see other people in other beautiful lands, people with their own ways, with their own truths, people different from her own, but still somehow the people. Finally, the little girl asked one more question. Old Turtle, how will people learn these things? By seeking out those small and simple truths all around them, said Old Turtle, by listening once more to the language of the breezes, by learning lessons from the stones and animals and trees and stars and even turtles. She chuckled, and little girls. Now, little one, it is time for you to go, to return to your people and tell them what you have seen and learned, and help them mend their broken truth. Take this with you, said Old Turtle, as she placed something in the little girl's hand. I have saved it for a very long time, for someone just like you. The little girl looked at what Old Turtle had given her. It was a kind of stone, a mysterious, beautiful stone. It was lovely to touch, and it made her feel good to hold it. She squeezed it tightly, then tucked it away for her journey. Thank you, Old Turtle, she said. and hugged her friend's great leathery neck. And then she started home. Once more, she traveled through the forests of finding out, crossed the rivers of wondering why, and the mountains of imagining. Crow led the way, and again, when the little girl grew tired, all her animal friends helped. She sometimes touched the stone Old Turtle had given her to renew her strength. And it took a long time, yet almost no time at all. And she was home. But it had been a very long journey, and those who take long journeys of the heart are changed. The people did not recognize her, and when she spoke, they did not understand. She told them of her journey, but the people could not follow her words. She spoke of a world made of small and gentle truths, of all the people being one people. But they could not catch her meaning. She explained about the broken truth, and she needed to make it whole. But the people did not believe her. They could not understand. Finally, Crow, seeing all that had happened, flew to the place high above the village where the great truth was kept, in a place where all could see it. He cawed and cawed in his loudest voice, and suddenly the little girl knew what to do. She climbed to the high place herself. She took Old Turtle's stone from her pocket and carefully added the missing piece to the old broken one. The fit was perfect. The people looked and looked and looked. Some frowned, some smiled, some even laughed, and some cried. And they began to understand. Do you see that? Time passed, and upon the beautiful land, the trees climbed like ladders to the stars, the waters shone like mirrors, and the people saw their beauty. A breeze stirred, and they heard its music. Tiny truths fell by day and night, gentle as the rain and snow, and the people found them and kept them in their hearts. And slowly, as the people met other people different from themselves, they began to see themselves. And far away on a hill in the very center of the worlds, Old Turtle smiled. Now, do you know what the two stones said when they were split off? The first one, remember, was that you are loved. That was the first part of the truth. You are loved. That's what the humans found, and they just wanted to keep that. But the other half that Turtle had kept in secret for so long said, and so are they. We are all loved. Doesn't matter if we're all the same. Every single different person, creature, and anything that has been created is loved by God. And that is the message that we want to talk about today. Part of the acknowledgement of the land, part of our taking time today to acknowledge Indigenous people and have a day of prayer for Indigenous people is to remind us that we are called to reconcile what has happened in the past. People have been hurt, people have been taken advantage of, and we need to find a way to reconcile. So Truth and Reconciliation was a commission that's happened many times over many years, and there's lots of recommendations on how we move forward so that the Indigenous people are honored, respected, are given back what was taken away from them. And so even in our statement of faith as a united church, we believe that Jesus came to reconcile and make new. So Jesus came to make sure that we all get along, that we find a way to reconcile with each other, to make our relationship good again, to heal what was broken, just like the stone that was broken. And that's what we're doing today as well on Indigenous Sunday, is learning to heal what has been once broken. It's our call as Christians to be a part of this. And this doesn't mean that we always know how to do that, but we need to, as the story said, we need to really listen. We need to be curious to understand each other and not try and overpower each other. We want to come together to bring that broken truth and reconcile it so that the world can actually live in love. So that's the message today. We have a lot of work still to do, but I hope that you will join us for the service after this, where we're going to hear more teachings and hear from Shiloh, who is our affirming minister here at the church. And I hope you really enjoyed that story. But I think what we'll do is we're going to finish with a song that's a repeat after me song, at least one of the lines. It's called Serve the Lord, which is what we're being called to do, is serve the Lord. And one of the ways we serve the Lord is by listening, respecting, and loving people, and remembering that there are truths everywhere in this world. And so this is how it works. I'm going to sing a line, which will be, serve the Lord with gladness. And then you're going to sing that as well. Serve the Lord with gladness. And then we all sing together. All you people who've been waiting for so long, serve the Lord. So there's different verses, so you're going to have to listen carefully, but that's kind of how it works. So let's sing together. Serve the Lord with gladness. Serve the Lord with gladness. All you people who've been waiting for so long, serve the Lord. Trust the Lord will always lead you. Trust the Lord will always lead you. All you people who've been waiting for so long, trust the Lord. Thank the Lord for God's mighty actions. Thank the Lord for God's mighty actions. All you people who've been waiting for so long, thank the Lord. Love the Lord, and there is your freedom. Love the Lord, and there is your freedom. All you people who've been waiting for so long, love the Lord. Serve the Lord with gladness. Serve the Lord with gladness. All you people who've been waiting for so long, serve the Lord. So let's end with prayer. Let us pray. Creator God, we are asking for your help today. We want help to find ways to mend that which has been broken. Help us work on our relationship with other people so that we are always kind and respectful, that we listen not for what we want to hear, but we listen for the truths that are in all of creation and in every living being that is on this earth. We give thanks for the people who have graduated, and we are just wanting to send them out love and to celebrate with them in their great accomplishments. We also want to remember our fathers today who have taken care of us and protected us in our time of need. May they know that they are loved. And most importantly, remember today all the Indigenous people in this world, and we ask that we spend some time learning more about their history, about how we can change the things that have happened in the past to make things new. May we hear the truth, and may we find ways to be reconciled. And we do this all in the words that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for joining me. I hope you will come back for worship at 10:30. But Know that I'm also online on Wednesdays. So if you haven't been joining me, please join me on Wednesdays at 11 for Kids Church. It's always a little more interactive and a lot of fun. So really great to see all of you. I miss you all. Remember that you are not alone, that God loves you, and that we are in this together. So go out into the world and spread that peace and love to all people. See you all later. Bye.